Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to Tuesdays with Dr. Tay. So here I am today in a newer setting in my, in my drawing room, because today we are going to be talking some really impactful, deep and sensitive topics. I have asked you guys what are your current fears and struggles that you are going through, and I have got some really awesome questions and shares from moms, and I was like, you know what, I really need to feel chill about it, otherwise it will feel like, me teaching you guys and coaching you guys and whatnot. But this is just a mom. Today's topic is coming from a mom to you, another mom who's going through this situation. Okay, we are all in it together. Okay, so let's start right now. Our today's topic is how our fears keep us stuck, and it's a Q&A session. So I have had some questions already. I'm going to be going through them. It's not going to be a very long-winding topic today, because I will be trying to keep it short and sweet for you guys. Okay, so the first comment or question comes from MC Angelique Alexander. So she says, my fear, I don't know how else to help my son with meltdowns. When he doesn't get his way, he throws anything around him. I can't go anywhere anymore. And with that also, Ornob, piggybacked on the question. So the thing is, when your child is having meltdown, by the way, let me know in the comment if you guys can hear me, because I'm not being able to check it. Let me check it a little bit to see. Okay. Let me know in the chat, how are you guys? How are you feeling today? Okay. So yeah, I am live and everything is looking good and speak and span. So let me know in the comment, how are you feeling today? What are your fears keeping you stuck? How are you not feeling motivated? What's keeping you stuck? What are your fears, so that we can talk through it and help you get away from it. Okay, so we were answering MC's question. She said her child is having a lot of meltdown. So the first thing is, I have a video on meltdown just in my YouTube channel, so you can go check that out. But meltdown is happening because your child does not know how to communicate his needs to the world. Your child is having a meltdown not because he is trying to give you a hard time, but because he's having a hard time. How about this? How about we try to, regroup the way we think our children. Okay, it's a part of need-based parenting actually. So in our 5th pillar, need-based parenting, I teach this to my students very in-depth, trying to understand your child, why your child is going through something. Yes, when you listen to me and follow through the steps, you will inshallah get a lot of less meltdowns and sometimes no meltdowns. And the thing is, even neurotypical kids have meltdown. The difference between neurodiverse meltdown, autistic meltdown, and neurotypical meltdown is, neurotypical kids, they're having meltdown, or more likely temper tantrums, because they want to get something from you. Okay, so neurotypical kids have the meltdown problem because they want to get something from you, versus an autistic child or an autism child having a meltdown is he having trouble to communicate his need with you. Okay, and his brain is not producing enough serotonin, enough dopamine, and all the other good things that he needs to be able to regulate his emotions. Okay, so the best thing that you can do for your child, twofold. Number one, help your child physically produce more serotonin and dopamine, and emotionally giving him the space to understand and go through the process without you needing to feel upset or depressed or wanting to brush fire the whole world. Okay, so the first thing is about the physical health, right? So it's totally connected to gut health, because 80% of serotonin, melatonin, dopamine, and all of the things that the brain needs to be able to communicate, understand, sleep, mood, attention, all of those things, they can actually I think this is a better way. Okay, so they can actually be produced 80% in the gut, So when you are working on your child's gut health and healing, a majority part of the meltdowns will go away. Okay, so how can you do the gut healing? You have to make sure the diet is of the right type. I always suggest grain-free, milk-free, except for yogurt or kefir. And then lots of probiotics. I'll leave a link down in the description after I'm done on all the things that you can buy, so I'll share some of the links of the best probiotics and some cod liver oil and things like that. Okay, so stay tuned for that. So when you are working through the probiotics, when you are giving your child fish oil or DHA, and then you are giving him the right diet, then guess what? Gut healing starts working, the gut starts healing, and then the gut can start producing all of those serotonin, melatonin, dopamine for you, for your child, so that now your child will have less meltdown. Trust me, Muhammad had meltdown like every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, okay? Because a lot of the time, kids who are not very very vocal or who are non-verbal, they tend to have a lot of meltdown because they feel frustrated. How would you feel when you are shouting at the world and the world is feeling like, they don't see you, they don't hear you? That's the same thing that your child feels. Your child feels he's not being seen, he's not being heard, he's not being understood. So to overcome those, the emotional part is to go through with him, sit with him, or give him the space, not get angry, not get anxious, and work on your mindset, work on your inner emotional stability, work through your trauma responses, because a lot of the time when we get angry on the child is not because of the child's action, is because we feel we are not good enough. Let it land softer. A lot of the time you get angry on your child or upset or depressed, not just because of the child's action, but mostly because you think you're failing as a mother. Let me know in the comments. Give me a love, give me a thumbs up. How many of you can relate to this, that your child's inability is pretty much equivalent to your inability to. So you feel like you are not good enough, you're not doing it properly, you're failing at the job of being a mother because your child is also failing at the job of being a child. Okay, so I hope those tips helps, because they will help. They help all my students. They have helped my kids, and they're helping thousands of kids around the world whose moms are, and parents, not just moms, dads also, whose parents are actually working on their gut. Because 95%, it's been tested and proven with research, 95% of kids on the spectrum, as in autistic kids, they have gut imbalance. Okay, so please work on the gut issues and gut health, and you will see a lot of the reduction of sleep problems, emotional dysregulation, temper tantrum or meltdown, whatever you call it. Okay, all of those things will inshallah very much get reduced or get very much handleable, if that makes sense. Okay, so the next question comes from Sanjina Munni. She says, my fear is she can't socialize, communicate, and adjust with other kids, and everyone asking why she's playing alone. Okay, so first of all, when you are focusing on your child's brain development and gut development, gut healing, then it takes some time. I always say to you guys, right, so she's one of our students, so I always say to you guys that it takes about 2 years for the brain to totally reshuffle and rebalance itself. Okay, it takes 2 years for new neural connections to be solidified, to be born, to be made and created. So you have to be patient and work through the things for the period of time without giving up, without giving in, and without feeling like a failure. Because I always say to you guys, to everyone, healing is like a wave. Okay, as long as it's not going down, as long as it's going up, the waves are fine. There will be waves, there will be ups and downs. As long as you are going up, even though you are going down, but it's in the direction of improvement, then it's fine. Please don't lose your hope, because a lot of the time what we do is we try something, but we don't give enough time to that protocol, to that thing. And if you have tried something for 1 year, it still didn't give you any improvement, then stop that and try something else. That protocol might not be for your child. That program might not be for your child, okay? But most of the time what I have seen, I'm sorry because I just came up from a cold. Remember, last week I couldn't do the log. So the most important thing for you to remember and understand is your child's brain is very much connected with the gut. So work on the gut healing and gut health, and work on the brain development by following the 5 pillars system. It always works because this is very much connected to a child's brain development. You know, the 5 pillars I keep talking about, these are not really my invention. These are not my invention. I didn't invent them. But when I was working with Muhammad, and then I started working with other students and their kids, I have, with time, with experience, I have understood that these are some of the stuffs that really keeps giving us back, okay? The first thing that I changed with Muhammad was the diet. And then I did his detoxification. And then I changed slowly the, non-tox lifestyle. So if you guys haven't already, subscribe to my newsletter so that you get the detox guide, you get the free lifestyle guide so that you can start changing and shifting your child's improvement in the proper direction starting today, okay? Starting today. So then I changed the lifestyle, right? And then slowly I was working through understanding him and understanding myself, where my anxiety comes from. And you know what? The beautiful thing is this, like most of the time when I got anxious at Muhammad was not because of Muhammad's meltdown or what will happen in his future. It was only because I felt like a failure. I felt like I'm not doing enough. I felt bad because the people around me, the society, the culture, they always keep on telling us what? Women are not smarter than men. Women or the mother doesn't understand the child. Or you might be told by your mom, your in-laws, your aunts, your siblings that you are not a good mother. Maybe they're not tooting your horns. Maybe they're comparing you. And whenever, let's say you telling your mom, like, Mom, I feel very anxious when my son is having a meltdown. And maybe your mom says, wait, when I start talking about how you had severe meltdown than your child. You are having it easy. I had it hard. So a lot of us, you and me, a lot of us don't have really understanding and supportive parents who actually tells us that you are doing a good enough job, that you are slaying this job as being an autism mom. And there are so many things that you can try. Please don't give up. If the last thing that you take, if the only thing that you take in today's live, in today's video is this, please don't give up on your child. You never know how far your child can go unless you have tried everything. And it's okay to try and fail. It's very much okay to try and fail because you are human. You're not God. You are not an angel that you will not make mistakes. Mistakes are okay because we were raised in a way, and the school system, the parenting system, we were bitten or hit or shouted at when we failed or made mistake. That's how we learned, our inner kids, our subconscious learned that making mistake is wrong. Making mistake means I will get shouted at. Making mistake is I would get mistaken. I would get misunderstood. I will not get my treat. Is it landing for you? I hope this is landing for you. When you make mistake, you have been taught that making mistake is wrong. That's why whenever you make mistake, you give up. Or you even don't try because of scared, because of having that fear of making mistake. But here is the thing. No child, no human baby, no animals learn to stand on their feet in the first go. Never. They try, they fell down. They try, they fell down. Have you ever learned any skill like riding a bicycle, cooking a biryani, doing some needlework, or maybe just ponytail, or maybe doing makeup? Have you ever tried anything first time and aced it? Never. It's impossible. You cannot do it. That's not inhuman. So that means you have to try, and trying is okay. Trying and failing is okay. So give yourself the grace in trying and failing, because most of the time you get stuck is because of your fears of failure, okay? So in summary of Sanjina's question, give your child enough time and give yourself the grace of trying. And I have seen most of your wins. Today also you shared a win that your daughter, mashallah, she has gone to the toilet and she has done her own business without you telling her. That means she is potty training herself. Mashallah, how cool is that? Your previously nonverbal child is potty training herself. So just imagine what else she can manage when you keep doing this thing that you're doing, working in the program with us, inshallah. Okay, so Rita, our next question comes from Rita. She says, my fear is that my son is still not potty trained. How connected they are. Okay. So my fear is that my son is still not potty trained, and lately he has been chewing his sandals and clothes. He turns to smell everything he comes across, from food to detergent. Okay, Rita, you have mentioned two problems. One is he's not being potty trained. Three problems. One, he is not being potty trained. Two, he is chewing his sandals and clothes, chewing. And the third problem that is he's having smelling. He's smelling everything. Okay. So two of your child's problem is sensory processing disorder related. Okay. SPD. So sensory processing is your child is going through some hardship. Your child's brain is going through some hardship in trying to process the sensory input. Okay, process the sensory input. I remember when I was a child, I could not wear organza, I could not wear beads and things like that. And you know what? I used to be told by my parents and everybody around that I am Kep, or like a villager. Okay, why was I said? Because organza, beads were coming first time. It was very fashionable. And my sister was able to wear them properly. On the other hand, when I would wear them, I would feel itchy. Okay? I was a neurodiverse. I still am. So I am a neurodiverse. I have sensory issues, but instead of them trying to understand that it's normal, they try to make me feel bad about myself. That's the difference between the right sort of need-based parenting and the wrong sort of need-based parenting. So the reason why your child is going through these smell issues, trying to smell everything because he wants to, explore everything, and also the fact that he is chewing things, is number one, a sensory issue problem. And obviously the sensory thing comes from gut imbalance. Okay? Sensory issues, picky eating, chewing problem, most of the sensory things, smell, your child trying to avoid certain smells or going towards certain smell issues, chewing issues, food issues, picky eating, all of those things are under the umbrella of sensory issue. Okay? And sensory issues comes due to gut-brain imbalance. Okay? Gut-brain imbalance. So how is it happening? When your child's gut has imbalance, has a lot of bad things like, bad bacteria, fungi, candida, parasite, and all of those jazz, then your child's gut is not producing enough of the, neurotransmitters that is needed for his brain to be able to process information. Okay? Process information. So a lot of the sensitivity, all of these things actually are cured or goes away resolves itself when you work on the gut. So Rita, I highly recommend you to please start working on your child's gut. I will be sharing some resources in the description, so please go come back and read through the description. Find the probiotics that I'm gonna share with you guys because it helped me and my students a lot. And then I'll share some other informations and resources that you can start availing right now, just today, okay? So when you work through his gut imbalance, his sensory issues will go down. And other reason why he is having smelling issues, like, you want to smell everything, is because he's, we have 5 senses: touch, sight, smell, taste, and feelings. Okay? So if your child cannot keep his clothes on, that's because his sensory issues of feeling is disbalanced. If your child is putting everything in his mouth and chewing, is because his mouth, his taste sensory issue is disbalanced. And also he's trying to explore the world. Or maybe his other senses are not properly developed, but the smell and the taste is trying to develop. That's why he's trying to smell everything, because smelling is what he's getting understanding. Just like a 1-year-old, toddlers put everything in their mouth. Why? Because toddlers can actually only taste things. So toddlers explore their environment through taste. Similarly, your autism child is exploring the world through trying to bite everything and chew, as well as the smell. Another issue I want to include here is if your child is chewing everything, one of the reasons is his stress. You know why we do stress eating? Because when I'm stressed and I'm chewing something, let's say chips, I'm chewing through chips, that gives me a lot of pleasure. Why? Because when I'm stressed, a lot of the stress we hold on in our cheeks, in our jaws. So when I am chewing something, biting something, I am relieving that pressure from my mouth. So your child chewing through things is because your child is trying to relieve the pressure and the tension and the stress from his jaws. Okay? Just like growing pains. We all have had it. So growing pains are when kids' body is growing, right? Kids' body is growing. So teeth growing, the bones are growing taller. So kids will go through growing pains and aches and dullness around certain body parts. That's why he is chewing things, because he doesn't know how to convey his needs to you. That's why he's, reluctantly going on chewing things, because he wants to relieve the pressure, relieve the stress, and also try to understand the world, explore the world through his sensory organs, okay? So don't freak out. It is looking like a freaking out thing, definitely. And definitely you feel alone and, you cannot take your child outside because he's doing some random actions and activities which others are not taking as normal, right? So you too can really benefit in doing the gut healing work for your child. Please don't stay stuck. A lot of the time I actually give very valuable information in these lives. I do. If you sit through every single episode of Tuesdays with Dr. T or any other things that I have done, and if you write down the information, wallahi, you will actually get a lot of benefits. And if you follow through. The difference between you listening to this live and a student working with me is this. The student has more inspiration and motivation in trying and failing and moving towards the direction and the goal he or she wants to go. And you getting stuck. Maybe you are listening to the video and you are happy that I answered your question. You will then, the video ends and then you dust your hand and you go about your day. It's not gonna solve your problem. It's not gonna solve your problem. A lot of the time, I give very valuable information, but rarely people takes notice. Why? Why? Because they don't have skin in the game. because they don't have skin in the game. This is like a free podcast. You come in, you listen to it, and then you can go about your day. You haven't invested anything except for a little bit of a time. And I see people keep coming in and then going out, coming in and going out. That means they don't have the attention span of even 30 minutes. If you cannot go through a video session, in-depth training of 30 minutes, then it will be hard for you to find the solutions, the right solution for your child. Okay, so the most important thing that you need to start working on is your mindset, your emotional distress, and learn and find ways to overcome them so that you can start the healing journey and get to success. Okay, the last question for today comes from Faiza, and I love her so much. She's one of my Instagram followers. So she says that her fear is that I am not able to enjoy or see the progress he has made so far because I am stuck on fixing his autism or still see his differences compared to his peers, which is so small. I totally understand. I have been there. I have 3 groups. I run 3 groups, okay? So I have 3 groups full of grown women who goes through this every single day. Okay, Faiza, you're not alone. Or anyone who is thinking the same way. So let's say you start something and you start seeing gains and improvement, but then you come back to this thing that it's not good enough. He has to start talking in like 6 months. I have clients like this all the time. A lot of my students are watching this live and they will vouch for it. Like I scold them also. Another day, one of the mom, she DM'd me saying that, her son is, playing, imaginative playing, and he is riding bicycles and he's also talking, but he has a little bit of teeth grinding and maybe some other issues that she said. And I was like, where was your child 1 year ago? Just compare your child 1 year ago with now. Never compare your child with another neurodiverse kids, and certainly never compare your child with another neurotypical. It's a big mistake that you are doing, Faiza, or anyone who's doing. I would say everyone, we do everything. Every one of us does that because we are just 1% of the population. The 99% of the population are neurotypical. So it's very hard for us not to compare ourselves. So you have to keep coming back and keep reciting to yourself, I have made progress. And this is why we have a system of logging our wins. We use #win and our students can share their wins because they are keeping a log of their improvement so that they can come back whenever they're feeling like they're failing. They can come back to their own post and they can see how far they have come. So for those students who don't share wins, I have seen they actually have it harder. They actually have less progress and they actually have less success rate compared to those who are more positively wired and who are more into sharing their positivity every single time. Why? Because when we share even the smallest gain, we are solidifying and telling ourselves and teaching ourselves that this is working. It would be idiocy, stupidity if I stop what is working and try another thing. We call this shiny object syndrome. Okay, so shiny object syndrome is when you start something and then you don't try it hard enough. Even though you start seeing gains and improvement, you are like, this is not enough. This is not fast enough. This is not more enough. And I have to find another thing. You don't have to find any other thing. Whatever you are doing, if it's working for your child, yes, sometimes we are stuck. Sometimes some kids try some protocol or maybe half of it or maybe just 1 or 2 things and then their progress gets stuck. That's happening because your child needs other support. So you have to work through that because a child's brain development needs all the 5 pillars that I keep talking about, right? So if you are giving your child 1 or 2 pillars, let's say diet, and you're doing some detoxification through supplementation, and then you have seen some improvement and the improvement got stuck, The improvement tells you that you are in the right way of working through him, but the pause tells you that you need to work harder. You need to add more things. And when I say work harder, it might sound like, oh my God, I have to work harder. No. What I mean by work harder is you need to add some more things. That's it. And you can do that very simply. Actually, you can do things very simply when you are following a very simple protocol in that sense. So for Faiza, first of all, we should not have the thought of fixing autism or curing autism, because it's a disorder. And a disorder is completely manageable and recoverable, which is why I use the term autism recovery. Because when my son, alhamdulillah, goes outside to play, nobody can say he have autism. He was severely nonverbal. He was severely throwing things, biting things, hitting himself. He even broke his hand. My son broke his hand. My calm and collected child was so angry and anxious, he broke his hand. He was there. And now when he goes to school, mashallah, he's going to grade 1 in this September in a public school in Canada, okay, Ottawa. So he and his kid and his, friends' mom, other parents, his teachers, nobody can say that he has autism or he has had anything severely going on. So it's totally possible. It's totally possible. Yes, I myself have had some pauses when I could not see any gains, but I did not stop. I did not stop because as a neurodiverse myself, I know the price he would have to pay if he is not independent. As a neurodiverse who have suffered physical, emotional, sexual trauma from peers, from cousins, from teachers, from parents, from everybody around me, I can vouch for this. You would not want to stop working on your child, because you as a neurotypical parent do not have any freaking idea what life is as a neurodiverse. So please don't stop working on your child. Yes, the gains are small, but they are gains. Focus on the positivity and keep going on. Find community like us. Find community where it's very positive. Please don't go to those Facebook groups like 180,000 people. You feel like, oh, if there are 100,000 people in that group, they must be legit. No. All they keep on talking about is how poor they are, how poor, not, monetary sense. How poor means how poor the lifestyle is, how poor the child's gain is. They always talk about medicines. They always talk about therapies and things that actually doesn't help your child. I have seen mom being bullied when somebody posts like, my child is a picky eater. How can I feed him and, overcome picky eating? Then 100 parents will come like, are you nuts? Picky eating is like an autistic thing. You have to accept it. If you don't accept your child's picky eating, you are a BS mom. I have seen those happening in those big groups. I don't want to name the groups. You guys know which groups are they. The big ones, more than 10K, 100K, 180K and all of those things. Why? Because they have their own agenda. My agenda and my community's agenda is this. Autism recovery is possible. Getting your child to have independence, getting your child to have success, getting your child to speak, communicate, self-care, potty training, all of those things are possible for your child to various degrees, depending on what's the age of your child, how far you work on him and all of those things. But it's very much possible to give your severely struggling child a very much normal life. And please don't listen to anyone who says, why should you want a normal life for your child? Of course you would want a normal life for your child. Why wouldn't you want a normal life for your child? As a neurodiverse who has suffered through the world's atrocities, I vouch for it. You should work on your child. You should be proud of yourself. You should get a Nobel Prize in parenting. If you have a severely struggling autistic child, and you are trying to improve his speech, if you are trying to improve his eating habits, if you are trying to improve his lifestyle by putting him into bed properly, if you are trying to improve his gadget addiction, you deserve a Nobel Prize, my girl. You deserve a Nobel Prize for that. So please do not let the doctors or some other advocate mom or therapist tell you that don't, you're doing it too much. You are being too, I don't know what they say. Like most of the time they are trying to lower the parents' expectation. So they keep on saying that nothing much is possible for your child. And sometimes even when your child is showing gains, a lot of the people, professionals will say like, oh, it's fake. He's faking it. He's masking it. How many of you can vouch for it? How many of you heard this? My child is masking, autistic masking, ADHD masking. There is no masking. Your child is learning to adapt with the world. You should be proud of yourself. Like I said, you deserve a Nobel Prize on parenting. If you want your child to have a normal, healthy life, please don't take that ability away. Please don't let others take that ability away because they have their own agenda. Because when you are stuck, you keep going to the same person. When your child keeps having the same tummy problems, you might change doctors, but you still need doctors and medicines, right? That's why they don't want your child to have a nice gut health. That's why they don't want your child to have brain development, because when your child is having brain development, you do not go to those people anymore. You stop going to these therapy centers, you stop going to these doctors because your child is now on the improvement journey, on the success journey. That's why they want you stuck. That's why they want you feared. That's why they want you believe that things are not possible for your child. That's why they want you to believe that you are poor in energy, in focus, money, all of those things. I was able to help my son and my kids when I was single income, literally poverty line woman, single income family, only husband working and he's working from morning till night. I was going through severe suicidal postpartum depression, going through my own childhood trauma, coming out in the name of Ira. Okay? I was able to overcome when I did not have the money. You can too. A lot of the time I get DMs like, how do you do all of these things? Don't you give up? No. I don't give up because I know if I give up, then there is nobody in this world who would fight for Muhammad. So please don't give up on your child. Ain't nobody is gonna care for your child more than you. And most of the people who says that, X, Y, and Z is not possible for your child, speech, communication, body training, calm behavior, life just like a neurotypical is not possible for your child. 100% possible for your child. 100%, depending on how younger you start working on your child, how severe the child's problem is, and exactly what you're using or what steps and strategies you are implementing, okay? So with that being said, thank you so much for being here. I applaud every single one of you with I would take this one as the Nobel Prize. Okay, so I give you the Nobel Prize in parenting if you are a mother of a neurodiverse who has some sort of severe disabilities or hardship going through. I know life is very hard for you. I have been there. I have done it. I know how life is. 95%, I would say 99%, or most of the doctors and therapists that you go to, they don't have kids on the spectrum. Why should I listen to her or him if he doesn't know what the pain is when your child cannot speak? Don't let them bother you. Don't let them feel bad about yourself. So I remember Muhammad was around 2 years and he was with my mommy. I was in my school, I was in my university teaching, okay? So I came one day and then my mom was having eyes like red, big eyes, and she was still crying. And I was like, what happened? Why are you crying? She was like, she's breaking down and then telling me that Muhammad was thirsty, but he did not have voice, right? So he was going everywhere trying to find water because he was thirsty, and he did not know how to tell that he is thirsty. This, you know, I haven't seen it, but I still remember how my mom reacted. She was like, the incredible helplessness a mother feels when her child cannot speak, cannot communicate, cannot tell mom, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry. Nobody can understand your pain if he or she hasn't gone through that. So please don't stop working on your child. Don't stop working on your child. Don't stop if your child is picky eater, there are lots of ways to overcome picky eating. If you have budget issues, we have a lot of courses that are very, very much affordable and whatnot. I have free informations everywhere in the, everywhere in the internet. Do find something that you resonate with and start small, because your child needs you. Okay? Your child needs you more than anybody else can tell you. Your child needs you. Your child needs you to believe in him. Your child needs you to believe in the capacity of brain to regenerate. Your child needs you to believe that picky eating is easy to overcome. Your child needs you to believe that you, even though you are single income or not making a lot of money, you still can help your child. Your child needs you to believe that, mommy, you can do it. Yes, you are scared to overcome picky eating. Yes, you are scared of maybe a die-off. Yes, you are scared of temper tantrums and whatnot. But mommy, you are the best thing that has happened in my life, and you can do it. Okay? So anytime, I used to log down my wins as well. So anytime I would not see gains, I would come back to my win list and I would read through them. And I would tell myself that nobody is going to fight for Muhammad if it's not me. And nobody will understand how a life can really be hard if he's a neurodiverse with severe disabilities. Being a neurodiverse is not bad. I am a neurodiverse. And Alhamdulillah, I am financially stable. Lots of people knows me. Lots of people sends me good DMs and sometimes bad DMs also. Okay. So I am in the business, in the space, in the journey of helping you overcome your fears, overcome your scarcity, overcome your feeling of I am not enough. Because honey, you are enough. You are more than enough. You have everything that you need right now. You don't have to wait for saving thousands of bucks and then going for any program. You can start right now without any money. Just feed him differently. Just try to change his environment differently, okay? And we have a lot of free, videos in the channel, in the group. Find your pick and start working on it. If you have more questions, let me know. I will leave some of the links of things that I am using for myself and, advising my students to use as well, so that you can start your journey right now. Even if you don't have 5K, 10K, 15K, okay? Even if you are anywhere in the world, you can still be able to start the journey, and you can know that this journey is the best thing ever. It will have ups and downs, but please don't stop, because you will be a failure only when you stop. You will not be a failure if you make mistake. You will only be a failure if you stop. So please don't stop. Okay? I never stopped, even though my husband, even though my family, even though people around me might be like, oh, this might be just what he can do. He might not be able to grow farther, but I was like, no. And that faith moved mountains. Faith moves mountain. Faith is something that is gonna change your life, okay? I'll see you in the next one. Allah Hafiz.